Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. So, Season 8 is about to begin. Lots of work's been going on in the off season. Massive overhaul in terms of the agency. So what better time but to give you right now the update of where we're up to, what the plan is and how we're going about the new season. So in terms of a big overhaul, hopefully you've got your teams registered. The deadline is now past, I believe, but the transfer window is still open. So if you are looking to secure more players, make sure you get yourself out there. And know out there at the moment, everyone's trying to get their players out on loan if they haven't got space for them. Often going for 0% contracts just with a bit of guaranteed play time. So if you're looking to fill rosters, I'd say go for it. So in terms of the agency, well, first of all, we'll go over to the clubs, I think. So we'll have a look at what clubs we have got set up. I'm now up to 4 clubs. At the end of last season, I had 3. We had the Flint, the Smark, and the Ice team. I did have an Ice team at one point that was a bit of a farm team, which I moved on. I made a decision towards the back end of the season. I wanted to be competing right further up the pyramid, and I felt that we could just about pull together a team for silver. So I'll jump into that team first. MFC Eindhoven, recently rebranded. This club is a shared ownership deal with 2 of my friends who I've met through Discord, through Play MFL. We're running a shared silver team ownership of the club. We managed to take over the club with 3 games left to go, in a bit of a tricky spot at the time. Felt we had enough strength to pull ourselves away from it. Managed to get 1 win out of 3. It was a bit nervy, to be honest, squeaky bum time. So we went into the relegation playoff. The relegation playoff came through, and our opponents, we managed to come through victorious 3-2. It was a hell of a nervous game, this one. Very strange makeup of the squad that we inherited. We went down to 10 men, as you can see here. They edged it after we got to that point where we lost our man. It sort of started ticking over their way. It was a strange game. Some of the goals we conceded, some of the goals we scored, but we managed to win it in the 86th minute with a free kick. We needed that. We needed that really badly, because suddenly the valuation of our club would have plummeted. Going into bronze might have made it a bit easier to compete next season. But anyway, we've gone about building the squad going into the new season. So the rev share is going to be particularly high on this club. 25% of it is going to 2 of my co-owners of the club, between the 2 of us. I've got a 25% rev share as well, but the additional 25% was allocated for loan dealings. We've made the agreement, whoever's running the club that season, effectively you've got 50% of the MFL to work with. If you want to bring in more players to keep more, go for it. If you want to secure the loan deals, you negotiate the percentage you're going for. I aim for the 25% mark. We've managed to hit 24 with a few game clauses here or there. But overall, I'm relatively happy with the status of the club now. We're up to 20 players. I think there's enough that are there for rotation. Overall, I'd say best 16 average, hovering around the 84.5 mark-ish, maybe closer to 84. We've got in some solid loans, as you can see. I've got my own 1 legendary player in there in Phil Ford. Very happy with this pickup. Very good negotiations. Reaching out to this chap here. Great to deal with. Really happy to find a price we were both happy with. A couple of other loans coming through. Various different people. I've worked with B Sellers, Apollo Sports Group. There's been so many people I've been dealing with the loans because I don't usually dabble in that. First season doing it. And they've been grand, so I do appreciate the support there. It's been brilliant. So yeah, overall, fairly strong position now with this club. Be interesting to see who we're drawn against, because while registrations are closed, we haven't got confirmation yet of who else is going to be in the league with us this season, with the promotions and the relegations and things. I'll be interested to do the scouting once we've got that, so we can look at the lay of the land. So we've got cover for practically every position. If we've got a weakness, I'd argue it is at cam. But we've got our feelers out at the moment, having a look to see if we can secure an additional player in there. But otherwise, we've got a lot of flexibility with this formation. We haven't settled on a formation yet and the tactics, but we can run 4 at the back, we can run 3 at the back, we can go for the 4-4-2-1-2 narrow and wide, 4-4-2, we can do 3-5-2 variations, we can do, we've got options basically, and that was the name of the game. So tactically, we can set up against opponents. That is the aim of the game. I won't jump into the tactics and the tactic testing I've done so far. I don't want to give the game away, truth be told. We're going to go on to our bronze club now. The reforged White Rose Peacocks. As you've seen previous content, I had this club previously. They were in Flint. I was negotiating with Bremner. He was interested in selling his license. He had a silver license going down to bronze. We were negotiating. At the same time we were negotiating, someone reached out to me and sort of said, look, would you be willing to part with your Flint license? So 2 separate negotiations taking place at the same time. Effectively sold one, bought the other. Everyone's happy. Someone else has got their Lee's license. Someone's got the sale they wanted. And I've got the Lee's license I still wanted, but in bronze. Been very happy building this squad out this summer. A majority of the players in this squad of mine, again, you can see there's 25% there rev share to bring in some extra strength and quality, again, from very similar people you spot here, like we've got Apollo Sports Group again. There is B Sellers in there again. Orange Fly. There's a few different people that I've been looking to loan from going into this season. But majority of these players are solely mine. I'm very happy with a number of them. Excuse me, I've got the young guy Matos. He's now 20. Hasn't made loads of progression yet, but he's going to be starting in bronze and rotating in and out for the options that I have here. Very happy with that, with the fact that I'll be able to use him and nurture him this season. I think for other standout interesting players, this is probably my favourite. Very happy with this one. He was new into the game, started last season. Let's go for the overall. Just drop all these off for a second. Started in the game at 80 rated, 22 years old. In his first season, he's gone up to 82. In terms of progression, if we go on what stats has increased in particular, shooting saw a nice little increase. His physicality, I believe, had a bit of an increase, just a tiny little one there. His dribbling got quite a bit of a boost. Yeah, a few stats going up there in his dribbling, and his pace has stayed the same for now. But overall, where he's at, he bulks out a bit more with the physicality, maybe an edge more in pace, a bit more in dribbling. I can hopefully see this chap, if he carries on his current rate of progression, doing very, very nicely. And in terms of how much I got him to secure the deal, very happy with that price. Very, very happy. So yeah, I think there's a lot of flexibility in this squad here. The ages are fairly heavy stacked towards the older age of those that I do own, but I'm happy to pick up the bargain there in the older category. That doesn't concern me too much. Very fortunate in the off-season to have no retirement notices, which I was happy with. And again, lots of tactical flexibility with this team, which is something I'm aiming for across all the squads. I'll come back to Keto, because that's an interesting one. I'm going to talk about my Stone Club. Had them last season, picked them up towards the back end when I moved out of the Ice team and I moved into the Stone license. Managed to get them to finish 4th. Nice little happy end of the season. I think I picked them up here. We had 3 wins on a bounce, lost the last game, but we still managed to finish 4th. Nice influx of MFL. Because ultimately, what I'm aiming for from this current season is I want enough MFL at the end of the season to get myself a rare pack. That's the ultimate objective in terms of things and trying to pull things through. Again, had enough players to sort of put them in here. There's quite a bit of strength, quite a bit of depth. There's a few loans that's taken place as well. A few interesting pickups. As to how strong this club will be as opposed to our opponents in the same division, we'll have to wait and see. Miku's an interesting one for me. Came out of a standard pack. He was the uncommon upgrade there. I like the very balanced stats he's got across the board for the rating. Nice pace, nice shooting, dribbling, the physical, which is a nice one I like to see. He starts progressing this season. He could be a very nice addition to this squad. Brunner is here from last season because while he's only 69 rated overall, I found he was a better player than Huertas, who was 74 rated, because Huertas was only about shooting and nothing else. Brunner has got loads of decent progression from last season. I've shown you loads, but we'll show you one more time. Last season, he just took off, so I want to keep that run going. I think he can cut the mustard in stone. He'll be the rotating in and out forward, which is totally fine with me. Got this chap in on loan, and he'll do a bit of a job for me as well in this division. So yeah, lots of flexibility in this role in this particular team. I do feel like maybe I could add one more additional player into the rotation. At the moment, I'm sitting on 3 centre backs. Ideally, I prefer 4 to give me more flexibility. But I'll put it out there. The loan market is tough. Understandably, if it's open to offers, totally get that. Totally get that. People want to see if the players are going in the right places. The auto accepts, more often than not, personally are ludicrous in terms of asking prices. People can ask for whatever they want. Totally their own volition. 20%, 15%, 11%. Bit excessive. If you are looking for loans, personally, I advocate reaching out to those who have got the bigger agencies, potentially got the players for loan. You're respectful of their time. You're very clear, sort of inquiring whether they will have players available for loan. If they do, you're going to put the time and effort into looking at who might suit your system and what sort of rating you're going for. So not trying to drop yourself a legendary player into your stone squad, because they don't want to do that, obviously. But try and find that happy medium of what players might be free and available to you. And if I'm doing that, I'm just going to pick someone at random. This chap's got someone up for 20%. Going over here, floating to free agent and seeing who they actually have as free agents, and seeing is there anyone there that you might be interested in. They might not be listed in terms of contract availability, but doing that networking, not taking the piss and asking for loads of players, and or have you got anyone for loan, getting them to suggest to you. Yeah, they haven't got time for that, especially some of these guys who have got 1,000 players or so. Yeah, they're not going to make all that time and effort to suggest to you who you might want to have. So yeah, loan market is very tough right now, and this is the situation I'm now finding with Keto. You might recognise Keto Forest. Of one of the founding sort of clubs, historical, lots of legacy behind them. I'm looking after this club for Bosco this season. He reached out, he was struggling for time, would I be willing? We came to a bit of an agreement, so he gets the benefit of me running his club, I get the benefit of some sort of return for my time and effort. It came in to me with 11 players. I've bulked it out to 16 now, a couple more loans coming through. I've put a few of my additional players by just moving a few players up from the Stone squad because they can cut the mustard. Tony Coates here was one of them. He'll get game time in this team, totally fine. I think Gallet as a rotational striker, I like his general broad nature of his stats. He'll be fine as a backup forward. Still working out the balancing of this team because it's not quite where I want it to be. I've got 3 centre-backs finally, because I think I only had 1 to begin with. No, I got 2. I had 2 when I first came through, but I didn't have any centre-mids. So I need some more backup for Tony. Could go for a 4-1-2, 1-2 wide. That would cut the mustard because I've got the CDM, I've got the cams. But I like the option to be playing with centre mid. So ideally I'm going to try and get a few more loan deals done. But yeah, going back to the loan market and looking, when I was looking at auto accepts, there are players there, of course there are. Centre mid was tricky because they're not naturally suited for centre mid, most of these guys, even though there's some good ones. And these aren't the worst situations, but I've got a lot of clauses already that I need to be careful with. So I'm biding my time on that one, looking to network further. I'm willing to give a bit more rev share and guaranteed game time for the right player. I've just got to balance it out with, so I don't end up with a rev share of loads of different people. Ultimately, this squad isn't necessarily, the club even is not about me getting all the extra MFL in. Quite happy doing Bosco a favour, truth be told, and having a 4th club, but I'm just looking to get the right players through the door without having my arms ripped off in terms of the cost of said loan. I've got 1 right back at the moment. Yeah, this squad needs a bit more balancing, but we'll get there. We will get there. But as it now stands, though, I've got a stone, an iron, a bronze, and a silver squad. I'm going to be going in depth on my tactic testing. Probably going to start doing it this afternoon again a bit further and with more and more clubs, because I've not done as much as I wished I could do because I've spent so much time trying to build these clubs. So I need to get my head down with a bit of the tactic testing. I've done some preliminary things and some interesting results so far. Agency is looking quite interesting. There's a lot of players now that I've got in the dev centre. I'm quite enjoying the lottery roll of excuse me, a young player, locking them in and seeing how they get on. Coxal here went in on dev centre beginning of last season at 17 years old. Not made a lot of progression yet, but see what happens. Who was the other guy? Where is it? Maracal. I think he's gone up a bit of an overall. Yeah, he's gone up 2 over the course of last season. He's now 20. He'll come out at, what would it be, 23? See if he's got any value there when it comes to him. A couple of other youngsters that have come through in the off season. This chap here, Holger, 17 years old, 52 rated. I'm happy for him to go in and come out at 21 years old and hopefully got some nice progression, see how that works out. And the same with this chap here, Kristik, however you say that. Interesting blend of stats again, and only 17 years old. Hopefully he can push on. And then these are the sort of lottery ticket ones, the ones you pick up for $1 or so. He's 19. He's no great shakes. He's 38 rated. It cost me 200 MFL, something like that, for 4 seasons. Why not? See what happens. It might see him bloom. It might not. Not lost in it. Not losing a whole lot. So yeah, I think in an ideal system, what's going to happen is I'm going to slowly migrate into the fact of I've got a stone, I've got an iron, I've got a bronze, I've got a silver. I go back for an ice, a spark, maybe even a flint. Get a bit of a system and a structure going up and down the pyramid. Quite like that idea. I can see a lot of my teams are being challenged in various friendlies. Mixed bag there, but none of them are set up with any tactics. So, yeah. Interesting start to the season. I'm still awaiting the pulls for, like, okay, which league are my teams going to be in? How strong are those teams? How do we fare up and stack up against them? I think it's going to be really, really interesting this season. My main priority is going to be the shared ownership. The White Rose Peacocks is going to be high on the list as well, because I want to make sure they maintain. Keto, absolutely for Bosco. I want to keep them in iron. We're pretty chill over what the outcome might be there, but I want to do them a solid and keep in the division. The Stone team, pretty chill over that one, truth be told. I just want to see a little bit of progression. I want to see them being competitive, maybe a bit of a cut run, but realistically, just stay in the division. I want all of my clubs to make sure they hold their division, so that by the end of the season, I can get myself a rare player pack. That's what I'm aiming for. That's what the overall objective is. I don't know how many people have gone for the promo. I stayed away from it this time because I had so many other things to factor into. But I do think this current match engine is throwing up some interesting bits of data, especially around possession, negative sort of ways of playing. I've seen some examples of 90% possession, less than 1 XG total games sort of things. As always, it'll kind of continue to be worked on and tweaked and stuff, but I do think it's going to be an interesting one to see how that plays out. But hopefully your seasons your teams are ready, they're registered, you've got what you need. I've still got a handful and a number of free agent players. I don't know, honestly, if I'll be able to get them to go anywhere at this stage now. Seems like it's all kind of drying up, people looking to pick up these players. I think, for example, here, I've not done a good job of setting this, for example, as a loan situation. I might need to go in and revisit these. If anybody's looking, you're welcome to come through. I'm happy to discuss any loans. I mean, someone did it the other day for their, it was either Spark or Ice team, and they were already at almost 30% rev share. So I kept I said, I don't go higher than 4 as a base unless people are trying to chance their arm at something. I think we did a combine for 2 players of 3% total combined because it kept him under 30%. He's still got a bit of meat on the bone. He can grow his agency. I get a bit of playing time for my guy and a tiny bit of rev share because I've seen the same thing echoed to me with my silver and bronze team. So I think it's a good way to go about things and approach things. But at the end of the day, each to their own. So one thing I do want to plug before we go any further. Normally, I come over here and go, look, if you're new to MFL, use my referral code. If you don't, use someone else's. I'm happy to still keep doing that. Whatever common player I get, I'll give it to you. Really don't mind. We'll just transfer it across. You can keep that. I'm looking to try and push myself up this referral ladder as we go forward. But more importantly, got some new content coming out. It should be out tomorrow evening. New podcast, Yorkshire TNXP, recorded with Bruce Leet and Root Cause. Brand new podcast. You might have heard about it because we have been trying to advertise it, and I know a few other creators, thank you very much guys, have been talking about the fact we are doing this. Very excited to share that with you. Hopefully you enjoy it. We're going to be looking to do more content moving forward and try and diversify our portfolio so everyone's got their own little niche when it comes to the podcast. Maybe get a few guests on in the future as well, see what their thoughts are to MFL. But yeah, hopefully you're all set for the new season. You're ready to rock and roll. I know I'm almost there now. Just need to find a few more additional pieces of the jigsaw and get my head down with a bit of tactic testing because season starts on Wednesday, I believe. Pretty sure it is. No, training starts on Wednesday, which is always the bit I'm excited about. But yeah, first match day, Wednesday. Yeah, I'm not ready. I need to make sure I am. But anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you have, please do continue to like and subscribe. I love the fact that the support I'm getting on the content. If you've got anything else in particular you want me to cover, you want to talk about, let me know. I'm going to continue to look to build some of the tools that I've shared previously. I've got a few in the works. It's more a case of, is it worth your time? When I do share it with you, you can get some benefit out of it. I'll let you know, because I'm also working on a squad rotational tool as well to help you plan those sorts of things. But that needs a bit of fine tuning because computers can be stupid sometimes. But anyway, have a good one, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.